I'm Hannah.
I'm Natalie.
And I'm Kaitlin. Welcome to the Stride Sisters podcast. On this episode, I'm back. We start with our training updates and the 2025 Walt Disney World Marathon course. We continue our spooky series by talking about chafing and blistering. Ugh. So lace up your shoes and step into the magic with us.
Welcome back, Kaitlin. We're so excited to have you back on the pod.
Thank you.
Are you excited for spooky season?
Oh, absolutely. It is spooky season. Spooky season has started. But I went to Cleveland for one weekend and you guys did 2 episodes without me?
Look, we were really hammering home feeling that work-life balance that we talked about, and so we really went for it because I'm going on vacation, so we need to plan ahead.
Nice.
So why don't you give us your training update then, since we didn't have you. We haven't heard from you in a while.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, because right now for the people who are listening, it is October for them. But for us, we're stuck in the past. It is still September. So, I just wanted to come on the podcast and say that I feel very good and confident in my training. Not as confident as Natalie per se. However, today I am not the slacker person. I literally just got back from my run. So I listened to you guys. I listened to the full episode today. And then so on my run, I listened to the last 30 minutes. Okay, so last week, before you guys recorded episode 10, I did my 30 minutes of run/walking both Tuesday and Thursday. And then we went home to Cleveland because of family stuff. I did not follow the schedule in that I did not do my 13 miles, but there was going to be no way that I was going to run 13 miles before going to a birthday party. So I did 6.2. So I don't know. I just was like, I'm building myself up for this local half marathon that I'm doing in October. So yeah, I did that. And then today, since today is Tuesday, today's the day that episode 10 dropped. And I ran my 30 minutes and I did 2.55 miles. They were like 11-minute, 50 something second mile splits.
Whoa.
So,
nice.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's faster than I ran this morning.
I am a slow person. So I was like, whoa, 11-minute miles. Who am I?
You don't
love that feeling. Yeah, but it's nice to feel like you're having improvement or like you've proved something to yourself.
For sure.
And because of how time works, Natalie and I don't really have training updates to discuss. So we're going to jump straight into our countdowns. We are at 23 days until Wine and Dine Half Marathon Weekend 2024. We are, wow, so close. You know, Natalie does the math on these beforehand. She's got a spreadsheet. She's all organized like that. But I read these live. I don't know what these numbers are until I'm reading them to you. So you're getting my genuine reaction. We've got 92 days until Marathon Weekend 2025. And teaser, I guess, we're going to talk about the marathon course that was released. This will be a couple weeks old for you, but it is brand spanking new to us, so we're excited to talk about it. We've got 114 days until Disneyland Half Marathon 2025. We've got 135 days until Princess Weekend 2025, and we have 177 days until Springtime Surprise Weekend 2025. By the time I get to the end of the list, the time until springtime seems like it's forever. But the time until Wine and Dine feels like I'm going to blink and it's going to be tomorrow. So Natalie, you want to cover the news that is kind of more relevant.
Yes. So, if you don't know yet, 2 weeks ago from when you're hearing this, we surprisingly got the marathon weekend course map.
This is
It
so early.
it is so early. 106 days to go, getting a map is wild. Now, the caveat being that we were informed that the race is going to start at 4:30 in the morning. So, instead of 5 o'clock.
Depending on who you are, it may not be a pro that we got the map.
Yeah, fair. Fair,
No, I'm
fair.
super excited that we got the map. But I mean, like, starting at 4:30 probably isn't going to be very bad because, like, Natalie gets to the corral an hour early anyway. So,
Truth.
mhm.
Yeah, we were talking before we started recording that last year for the half of a half, they started us 15 minutes early as well. So, and that wasn't horrible to be like the 4:45 start. And they were really trying to rush us out quickly because they knew the inclement weather was en route. So it's only 15 minutes before that, but you know, everybody rises around like 4:38 a.m. and starts clumping to the start of the or front of the corral as if, you know, even if you're back in D like me, where you're not starting for a good 40, but we all once some people rise, everybody rises. So I think I don't think it's going to be all too bad. It is sobering to think that if buses they officially used to start or they officially will start usually at 2:30. Unofficially, I've sat on a bus at 2:04 in the morning, so take that as you will. Will I get on a 1:30 bus? I don't think I even have that in me to do because that's pushing the envelope a little bit, but
That's like barely into the next day. That's for sure. I mean, people already say that 2:30 is not morning, it is still the middle of the night, but if we go into that 1 o'clock hour, that is for sure still the middle of the night and not the morning. So what did the map tell us? What other changes are in store?
there is no mile 22 death loop, and I'm so excited about that. So, what the course map did last year, which was a departure from the marathon of years prior, meaning when I did in 23, when it happened in 22, was that you exited Blizzard Beach, you took like a left out, and you did this big loop around. You passed the McDonald's that you're not allowed to go run to, you passed the McDonald's, and then you went up a mile two overpass or 22 overpass, and the area was fine. I mean, there is I dubbed it Cone Alley 2 Electric Boogaloo, where it's another like close, cramped area like Cone Alley, which we'll get to that in outside Magic Kingdom, but it was fine. It was just fine. But I'm happy to see that part gone because it was a little bit sad to be going up an on ramp at mile 22 of a marathon. Because then you get, after that on ramp, you go into Hollywood Studios through backstage. Everything is good and happy. But we won't be doing that this year. Some brand new elements to this course. We are going to go quote unquote backwards to get to Magic Kingdom as compared to like our standards. So usually, and you're like, okay, this is my first time, Natalie. What are you talking about? You too. So usually what we do, and like with the half marathon courses, you go up World Drive, you go through the Magic Kingdom, where how you get into parking, the
You
gates
go
to get into.
like TTC and then,
Yep.
yeah, you go like up past Contemporary.
Yes. And then you go through Magic Kingdom, you exit near the Grand Floridian shades, Polly. What we're doing is we are going the opposite way. So we are going to go up and we are going to cross past or go past the Polynesian, get Cone Alley out of the way. And then we're going to go through the Grand Floridian and then go on that walking path between the Grand Floridian and Magic Kingdom to go enter Magic Kingdom. I am so excited that we are going, and we're going to continue our little quote unquote backwards route of going down Main Street and then turning into Adventureland. We haven't seen a course go through all the lands of the Magic Kingdom.
Ever?
Okay, I don't want to say ever because there's a lot. Will be 32 years of Run Disney history. I cannot wait to see Tiana's Bayou Adventure in the dark. It'll be
I think
so
that's gonna be
pretty.
cool.
Do you think we'll
I
be able to ride it, like, during the race? Well, do you think it'll be open?
No, I don't think so because
Okay.
usually around, and I guess I haven't really done the math quite on this yet, but usually they plan it so that Magic Kingdom is while the park is still closed when the marathoners go through, or maybe early entry has just started, but that also doesn't take into account the new 4:30 start time, because that's what the email said was, something is like the best feedback that you guys like running through the parks, so they're giving us all of Magic Kingdom.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, with you guys got to start 30 minutes earlier to do it. So I actually don't think it probably is going to depend if it's still dark by the time you get to Magic Kingdom for the full. However, during the half, if they keep their more standard course, I think you probably still will see that. I am so excited to go through because you'll run through the castle and then go, instead of going right, you will go left out of the castle. So, which will be fun because usually you enter like Tomorrowland's the first land you go into during the marathon. So, and you'll exit by Space Mountain. I'm so excited for this. And then the course continues. There's a little bit, so then you go down by the Contemporary Ticket and Transportation Center, and do a little loopy loop in the parking lot because that
Oof.
exists, and that's part of the area of contingency plan. I guess I don't know this for a fact, but I think I do know some of the logic behind it. So there's contingency plans of if they need to course or cut the course for logistical reasons, for weather reasons, a little like hairpin turn like that, they can cut really easily. Blizzard Beach, they can cut really easily and just have you keep going around the road past Coronado Springs. So that's why these things exist. It would stink so much more if you had to miss Hollywood Studios because there was like a weather emergency. And I'm not saying that that can't happen too, but I'm gonna put Blizzard Beach up as a sacrificial lamb there
Oh, I
for
100%
I think
support that.
everyone's on board with that.
Yeah.
Another interesting thing I noted from the marathon course is that I think, based on how it goes through Animal Kingdom, this all but confirms that Dino Land is not going to be closed before marathon weekend. Because if it were closing, I don't think we would be running out through Dino Land, right? If they were going to close it to start construction, they wouldn't send us through because they don't send us through like an active work zone. So
Yeah.
and I guess we will get some kind of confirmation in forms of announcements later, but um, that was an exciting piece of news.
The hope lives on.
Yes. If you want to go see Dr. Seeker one more time, you want to go ride that dino, you want to ride Triceratops Spin during the full, I got some good news for you. Good speculation, I should say. And one of the things that did change about the end is that we will no longer do our loop around World Showcase in the last couple miles. Instead, we will enter World Showcase near the UK, turn near Canada, go into World Celebration, World Future, Future World, that part of Epcot, and then exit that away. So a little different. Disney has definitively decided that you're supposed to start in Canada, not Mexico, and that's how the race will finish. Another thing that's now kind of in the quote unquote confirmed section is that they'll do a parking lot start. At least the course map has it listed starting in the Epcot parking lot. So not the highway start of I guess the last time they would have done that at this point is 2023 for Princess. They also did that for the full. Logistically, I know it's a lot easier for them to not have to go set up the staging out on the highway, tear it down, set it back up for the next day for the marathon. But the course is not certified yet. So maybe if there is construction stuff, maybe that'll change a little.
If you haven't heard the controversy about this map, then maybe you've been living under a rock, or maybe you've been on an international vacation. I do not think I feel as strongly as many on the internet seem to feel about the change with World Showcase. I'm a little bit bummed because I think what I had built up in my head involved finishing through World Showcase and just knowing that the last like 5K-ish, I had something like happy to look forward to because in my Chicago marathon, they really did a number on us by putting the hairpin turn for that race right at the very end. So when you still had more than a 5K left, you were passing people that had less than a mile left who were about to finish. And it was literally just like a, a berm, a median um, of a road. Like we were running one direction and people are running up the other way and they're shouting at you across the way, like, you're almost there. And I'm like, I am not almost there. You are. So that was like really hard to mentally prepare for. So this is like a little bit of a bummer that it won't be quite as grand, I guess, is how I'll put it for a finish. But I'm very excited to see the entirety of World Showcase at night with the lights on. So I think that will be beautiful. Just gonna have to find some other way to hype myself up
Yeah,
at
because
the
I was
end.
gonna say, like, when you run through World Showcase and it's still dark outside, like it's still nighttime, there's no one there and it's empty, it's very like tranquil, it's beautiful. Like that to me is awesome. And that's kind of what Run Disney is all about for me. And like that's what it was like when I was a cast member and I had like those super early morning shifts or like the super late at night closing shifts, and you got to like walk out on stage with no guests around. Like that was amazing. So this is like why we pay the Run Disney money to go see the parks like when we can't be there as guests. You know what I mean? Like this is like why we get in extra, and this is like our extra perk. So I'm really glad that all of the four parks are involved in the course. I just could have lived without that Blizzard Beach section, and I'm gonna be uh, Blizzard Beach was like my home location during my college program, and like I'm low key traumatized by Blizzard Beach, so I'm gonna be like screaming, crying, throwing up on mile 21. So, but it's gonna be fine. Oh, it'll be like a
Well, at
dumpster
least it can
fire.
only get better from there.
Ugh, yeah. But no, I'm happy about this whole World Showcase thing. Like, I didn't know that there was controversy about this on the internet. So, like, I have been living under a rock, though. So, but
Well, when you get between someone and their margarita, it
right,
tends to stir up
right.
feelings.
Oh, I thought you meant like the regular day guests and like their margaritas. Like,
A
they can
little bit
have
of both,
their
I think,
margaritas.
actually.
I don't know.
I think that
It's
might
definitely
See,
the runners who have become accustomed to finishing in World Showcase. A lot of people talk about their margarita that they finish with, or maybe
true.
Tipsy Duck and Love, whatever drink. Like,
Mm,
that's a thing that people really like to talk about for the finish. And this is going to have to change some people's plans. But I also think part of the reason they're making the change is so that guests who are in the park who are not runners are slightly less displaced than they have been in the
right.
past.
And also, it's kind of like get the runners out. So, like, get them to the finish line and let them be done. At least that's my mindset when I'm finishing up a race. I feel like going into the race or signing up for these races, I talk a big game. And, like, the lure for me, especially like I'm doing this local half marathon here in Louisville, Kentucky. So, it's called the Urban Bourbon Half Marathon. And when I first signed up for it, the first time in 2022, I was like, oh my God, yes, I have to do this because you get a free beer afterward. And then after the race, the last thing that I wanted was that free beer. And I totally just left without my free beer. So I that's going to be the last thing that I think of when I'm running through World Showcase is not like, oh my gosh, I need my moonshine sour. No, I'm going to be like, get my butt to the finish line so that I can get my banana and collapse. So that's me at the end of a race. I don't want the beer. I want the banana.
I think also there's something that gets lost in the conversation about putting park experiences a little earlier in the race, if you know what I mean, of having so much of Magic Kingdom and like having that around mile 10. Alan Young, he's one of the perfect marathoners left. He said that one year that he ran the marathon, parks were all done by mile 13. all those
Gross.
Ew.
completely. And this is the years before Dak is what I'm saying. Like he's done every single one. Um, so I'm not saying that everything should be, oh, in the first half. I'm not saying that at all. But I do think that there's something to having, looping World Showcase while it's still dark. It's mile 2. That's around the halfway point of the Dopey Challenge, by the way. It's
See,
into
that's
the
why they did
marathon.
it. They did it for you guys. So you guys can be like, we're halfway there while you're like circling through an empty, beautiful world showcase.
But I think that there's something to be said about having some of those park experiences earlier. Also, again, we hope that something like 2020 doesn't happen again. That's bigger than Run Disney, but the 2020 marathon is what I mean. It doesn't happen again where they had to cut it for heat or they had to flag the course and things like that. We hope something like that never happens again. Or, if they did have to cut certain things toward the end, it's kind of nice to have had a lot of those good experiences in the beginning. At least in my opinion, I do think that that's something that can get lost in some of this conversation of um, sometimes some of the other people. So I'm excited. I think this just really just renewed my excitement for marathon weekend. I was already excited, but I know seeing a course map just hits something different.
Yeah, the course map makes it feel real. Like looking at it, I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is going to be crazy." So, I'm not really
Print it
looking
out,
forward
post it
to
above your bed.
of on my vaulted ceiling. But I did print out all of the schedule, so like the running training schedule, so I could see myself doing that though. But yeah, I'm really not looking forward to the stretch between Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom. What is that? Like miles like 15, 16, something like that. Uh
Yeah, it's the upper teens for
that's
sure.
yeah,
It goes
that
by
is not
fast.
gonna be fun. It's like
There's
a
also
solid
shade.
3 miles of road.
Shade is what makes or breaks how you're feeling, I think, on a run.
Mhm.
Usually, also back there, there's they put out old ride vehicles, like deceased ride vehicles. So,
Right.
like the Mr. Toad, that's back on that stretch. So that's always a little bit of a treat to see. But I like that
Those
Dak is a
things
little
may
later
or
as
may
well.
not just live there,
I
however.
I wondered if that because I
Like
don't think that the
Disney
20,000 leagues thing goes in and out.
oh,
Like
those
they have the
ones.
Nautilus out, yeah.
Oh, no, I don't think those actually live permanently out there, but that would be nice if they put that out on display. That's cute.
Well,
But
some crazy person would try to steal it if it
a
wasn't
lot
very
of
good.
ride vehicles just kind of like live on the side of the road or like just like the exoskeleton of animatronics, like the without the skins, those just kind of live out there on the side of the road.
Okay, well, if we're gonna go ahead and talk spooky, let's jump into chafing.
Oh my
Yes.
god. Oh, this is really spooky and scary. Yeah.
We're
So,
gonna do chafing and blistering, so both things that are not fun and are scary that can happen to your skin. Joys.
Hannah.
Kaitlin has our
Oh.
most recent experience with
Oh,
chafing, and I
I was
thought you
going to
might want to
ask
start us out
you.
with an antidote.
But I was going to ask you, how's Bartholomew doing?
Oh, Bartholomew is fine. Bartholomew is fully healed, and his little brother has made no appearances. I
I
keep
was going to
thinking he's
say,
going to, but I've
what's
been
his little
taping.
brother's name?
He doesn't have one yet.
You got to name
We've just
him.
had we've just had some scares. No confirmed blisters.
Well, same here. No confirmed blisters. Knock on wood. Um, but like I was telling Hannah and Natalie before, when we went to Cleveland this past weekend, my husband did a really fantastic job at packing for me. And we only went for a weekend, but I think he brought me like a week's worth of clothing options. And none of it matched, which was totally fine with me. Um, but he just happened to throw in like the Run Disney Princess 10K shirt and just some Nike running shorts that I've
Are
had
those your
for a
lifeguarding
while.
shorts?
No, I didn't have them at the time that I was lifeguarding, but I know that those are the red Nike shorts that like every lifeguard had at Miami. No,
Yes.
I had like red cotton Sophie shorts that had like it said the word guard with a
Nice.
red cross plus, and it was like ironed on vinyl. Those made me chafe a lot because if they got wet, like wet cotton Sophie shorts are the worst. But
Mhm.
these like dry fit Nike shorts that I was wearing in particular, they just were really riding up a lot. And so we also my husband packed for me and he did a great job. Like he got my headphones, he got the correct pair of shoes that I asked for. And like he is red blue colorblind. And I said, please grab my purple Brooks. And he did it. Okay. So like he did a fantastic job. He got the
That's a
gym
big ol'
boss.
success right there.
He did amazing. But I didn't even think to ask for Austin to bring me the Mega Babe. And so, oh, I hit like mile 4.5, or maybe I was on mile 5. And I was like, ugh, I can't do this anymore. But I told myself I would do a 10K. So I was like, oh, I got to do it for like another mile. And I was hurting. I was rubbing and chafing everywhere. Oh, God. So tonight when I went for my run, I was like extra safe and I put on like just a short sleeve t-shirt, but it's like really big on me and it goes down to my elbows, and like I had on full leggings and everything so that I wouldn't be chafing, but it was just a full on tornado and like rain, thunder, storming all day. So now that it's not raining, it was humid as all get out and I was just like dripping sweat just now. So, opposite of chafing. Oh, but I don't know. I was listening to you guys and you were like, "Oh, now's the time to experiment with like sports bras and leggings." And I was like, "I can do anything for 30 minutes. Let me just go like put on this random Target bra and like it's clean, and like these random leggings and they're clean, so who cares?" But I'm like, "Ugh, this was not the move. Definitely not going to race in these at all." Ugh.
And now you
So,
know.
not gonna race in my red Nike shorts. Absolutely not. Definitely not gonna wear like long pant type leggings. Not gonna do it. I need better bras. So if the girlies out there know of any good bras, I've just been scouring the internet for months, years. What is a good
Kaitlin is
bra?
specifically on the search for a high impact bra.
Just
So if you have
something.
recommendations.
If you
Well, you
are
said you didn't want my
If
recommendations
you're a
because they were
large
medium
chested
support.
girly, okay? If you're a large chested girly, if you know, you know, then like, ugh, I've just been on the hunt, okay, for a good sports bra. Like,
Natalie, you got any chafing stories you want the world to know about?
I'm not sure I want the world to know about it, but I'm going to say it anyway. Podcasting 2024. Back in 2022, training for my first half marathon, the Princess Half Marathon, I go out on a run in a pair of leggings that are a nice royal blue. They're cute. I think I got them from Kohl's. Said every Midwest girl ever. And I had worn them on plenty of runs before. Really liked them. Go out on my run. I finished the run. I'm in a lot of pain in general, but then I go home, I get in the shower, and lo and behold, I have a surprise waiting for me. I chafed really bad. You know what I chafed? My butt cheeks. I chafed my butt cheeks. It was terrible. I have never worn those leggings on a run again, not even a short one when they were fine. So, pain, suffering. Do you know what it feels like to jump in the shower and have hot water hit your hot, chafed red skin? Because it is not fun. And if you haven't experienced this yet, I am so happy for you.
It is
So,
the spookiest of surprises.
yeah, it is like the sear of 1,000 steak. I don't even know. It was bad. Okay. I think that is definitely the worst chafing experience I ever have had, and why I am so hyper focused on my and what I wear and like specific underwear. I would very much have paid attention since to if I've had any boo-boos from different underwear I wear. My first marathon, I had an extra applesauce packet in my hydration vest, and I think that the it was behind my hydration vest, so closer to my skin, and it was one of the applesauce packets like a Go-Go Squeeze or the Costco brand,
Mhm.
and it rubbed against my back a little bit.
Oh, no.
And this is before I learned the trick of KT taping bra lines. And yeah, it chafed, and I that was another one I didn't know about, but I didn't shriek as loudly because I think that I just sat down in the tub when I went to shower. So it was a more, you're starting to, scrub up the hair, and then all of a sudden your butt cheeks feel something. Um yeah, less pain and
So
suffering.
eloquent,
Yeah,
Natalie, so
yeah,
eloquent.
yes. Yes, so I can't wait for my husband to hear that. Um
For me, the triceps, so the booty is for sure the worst spot you can chafe. Like, there's no I will die on that hill. I think that is the worst place you can chafe. Booty and, like, upper inner thigh,
Yep.
those are both
I was
really
gonna
bad.
say
not the
the upper
nethers.
inner thigh. That doesn't
However,
have anything else beat for me.
for me, the tricep, if it's summer, is tough for me because it's really hard to cover that once it's chafed. Like, you have to go ahead and put, like, a bandage or something over it if you don't want it to rub, because if you go with a short sleeve, the sleeve is probably gonna cut right across wherever it is that you chafed. If you go with a tank top, nothing's touching, and the chafe is gonna rub against whatever shirt you're wearing. And to me, there's just no good solution to that area. Whereas, like, if you chafe your legs, you put on, like, your softest pair of leggings. Sorry if you're a dude and don't have leggings. Jump on that train. We won't judge. But there are, like, solutions around it. The booty is also very difficult to handle as well. So,
So, clothing wise, your long runs are a really good time to test out the clothing that you plan on wearing. We're only a couple weeks away from Wine and Dine. So, it's probably time to do your costume check. I know we brought it up a couple weeks ago, making sure nothing rubs you the wrong way. Imagine my life had I brought those blue leggings with me to my first half marathon. Uh,
Literally.
yeah, the trajectory, the path would have been a little different.
this was a big mistake I made this princess, was that I got some of my costume pieces for my Snow White costume for the half a little late and didn't have time to wear all of them together as a whole outfit on a training run. I had worn my sports bra, I had worn the base shirt, I had worn the shorts, but I hadn't worn them with the things I wanted to put on top and how I wanted it all to layer, and didn't realize until the morning of the race that I didn't feel good in it. And so that kind of threw a wrench. It's not a great feeling to be, like, minutes from walking out the door to catch the bus and you realize that your outfit doesn't work, and you're, like, either bummed because your costume doesn't work out. Hopefully you have a backup and it's okay and you still get to run, even if it's not your desired outcome. But imagine if you, like, woke up that morning and
Ooh.
didn't have a backup, you had made this whole plan and, like, that's all you
Yep.
got. That would be
Well, I was your
miserable.
guys' worst nightmare, and I did not practice running it. I didn't really wear a costume. I just had like leggings and the free t-shirt that they give you. I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking. But I mean, I did not practice wearing these at all, but I did have backup shorts, like bike shorts just in case. But the weather was kind of cold-ish. The only thing was that like when I brought my two sports bras, like my one really good one and then my other one, I did not like the other one because Amazon lied. So that one I was like, got to do something on the fly. So I had like an alternate sports bra to wear because I wanted to have the good Nike one that I love for the half. So that one didn't get all sweaty and nasty. So but yeah, I've every Run Disney race so far, like I've woken up in the morning and then like something doesn't work. Either like the weather is colder than I thought it was going to be, or um, we had a matching group costume thing that I was unaware of in 2022 that like me, my sister, my aunt, my cousin, we were all supposed to be matching, and I was like, "Oh, never mind. The shorts that I brought was not matching at all. So good thing I have extras." And my mom even brought me some shorts too. So, always bring the extras
Yeah,
even if you are flying.
indeed.
Disney's not the time to try and pack everything into a carry-on.
But you know,
No,
in
you
my family,
prioritize, but
no, no, no. In my family, we are taking Spirit or Frontier, and we're bringing a backpack. Okay, we are bringing a personal item. So we're not messing around with carry-ons and checked bags. So you're stuffing all the things that you need in that one personal item. Okay.
okay. Well, when you are picking out those items and your outfits, one thing to consider is the fabric. This will set you leagues ahead on this journey if you can just learn that cotton is not your friend when you're exercising.
No.
Not in your socks, not in your shirts, shorts, undies, any of it. You are in for a world of hurt. Cotton just holds on to moisture, and that is how you chafe, by having moisture that is sitting against your skin plus friction. Bad times all around. So highly recommend more like tech fabrics, sweat wicking. uh, you'll know most of the time they kind of have that, like, not shiny, but you'll know they feel different than your normal cotton favorite t-shirt. So highly recommend that. And then we've got a couple of other things that'll help you in your journey to preventing chafing from the get-go. So if you've picked an outfit, right? You've already picked the materials. The other things you're going to want to look out for are other spots that friction might happen regardless of those choices you've made. So, for spots that are gonna rub no matter what, like if you have thighs that touch, oh my goodness, shocker, most of us do. Unless you're wearing full-on leggings, at some point your skin is gonna touch, or your skin is gonna rub against the material itself. So this is a good time for, as we've discussed, a body glide, a mega babe, a squirrel's nut butter kind of um, product. You're going to want to apply that. I would say, like, my top places, you're going to do the triceps, like we've discussed. So, like, where your t-shirt might touch the skin. I do also along the edge of my sports bra, sort of in my armpit area underneath,
Yes.
so that if that moves around. I've also had like my partner do along my straps on my back if my sports bra has like a lot going on the back. Um, you're going to want to do your thighs and not just like around the edge of where you think your shorts are going to be, but also like inside your shorts, because they probably will move no matter how awesome you think they are. They're going to move a little bit. The upper inner thigh, like we talked about, anywhere around where like your underwear, no matter what choice you've made, is going to touch where it might get moved by your shorts. You're going to want that. Where the sun don't shine, you're going to want it there too.
Yeah, I was
And
gonna say I do not share my Mega Babe. So
Oh God.
that's it's not a thing to
this
share
is
because
not a
it's
sharing thing.
getting nope, it's getting in all of the areas.
And then another good place for the body glide or the mega babe would be the foot area. There are a lot of fun places that you can place it on your foot,
Ooh,
including I feel
I was gonna add
so like
to this part.
infomercial. You should consider your big toe. Your toe that rubs against your big toe.
Do you want to
If you
hear the
have a bunion like
biggest?
me, the side of your foot
Oh my
and the
gosh.
heel.
Yes, do you want to hear the biggest
Also
game
the top.
changer?
The top of the foot too. What?
The biggest, because when I had to go to the orthopedic surgeon and he casually wrote in my chart that I'm starting to get, like, whatever the technical term is for bunions, and
Mm.
so I freaked out and I went to the store and bought, like, literally anything that had to do with, like, bunions and saving your feet. So there's a product called Zen Toes at Target, and it is a black female owned small business, and she sells her stuff through Target. So, like, check that out because I use that. But another thing that I used in the parks in July, these bunion savers, and they were like these silicone like cap thingies that go on your toes. So there was like one for my big toe, and then I got other ones for my pinky toes, and like went the entire day walking through all of the parks, you know, full like rope drop to Phantasmic or fireworks park days. And my feet felt great. And I never had that before. And my Hokas. So the Hokas and the bunion things for the parks, amazing. No
Awesome.
blisters. Yep. No blisters
I've
at all.
I've seen those recently, and I've considered them since we've had lengthy discussions about how to prevent Bartholomew's little brother from becoming
Yes.
known. So,
Absolutely. Do the Zentos. And the bunion savers.
I'll look
The
into it.
bunion savers I got at my local Kroger.
Hmm.
That and like the corn stuff. Those
Corn
corn,
stuff?
like the corn cushions, like, on your feet, like it's called corn.
Oh,
It's not
that
like the vegetable.
I was thinking about the
It's
vegetable.
no, like corn on your toes. Like, we're getting really nasty here, but like, so those corn savers are like these cushioned donut shaped, like
Yeah,
donut hole shaped band-aids with
they use
adhesive
those
and
for
like,
warts too.
yeah, that's great.
Anywho.
We got
Natalie,
really
you talked
gross.
about tape earlier. Do you wanna talk about tape now?
Would love to. I am big on KT taping my hotspots. I think I've mentioned before here that some angel in Corral D in 2023 mentioned KT taping your hotspots. If you recognize it now, KT tape it to add a layer to absorb the friction so it's not your skin against something. So I did that for the marathon. And besides Chester, one big old blister, I really ended up pretty scot free, besides, a couple little
Mhm.
things here and there. But I personally will KT tape my bra line and the outline of my foot. I don't have a better way to describe it than the outline, but I mean like the border of my foot, because those are places I've had some problems. If you've ever had a problem with like your bra straps digging in a little bit or they shift a little bit, that might be a really good place for you to also try to KT tape. I am a KT tape nightmare walking out of my hotel room. You don't see most of it because usually what I will KT tape versus body glide is I KT tape the things that I can't easily access during the race. So if I take my shoe off, it's game over, probably. But something like that, I'm not going to really be able to as easily access with body glide. I guess I could really go like sneak under my bra if I'm in a bathroom, or by depending on the mile of the marathon, I probably won't care enough and probably would just kind of sneak it under my shirt. But I tried like the things that are a little bit easier and like more accessible to me, like mid race are things I body glide. The things that are not are things I KT tape. Um, if you're in the bathroom, you can redo your thighs if you're in like nether regions, because I take a squirrel's nut butter with me, and it's space well spent in my hydration vest, in my opinion. But the KT taping is a game changer. This when I did my 13 miler, I had gotten the Target brand or an off brand KT
Mhm.
tape or version of the KT tape because I figured that for my anti-chafing purposes, that would probably be good enough, and it did. It stuck just fine. I think that anything where I need it for like the purpose of KT tape really being, lifting up the skin to allow blood flow, probably gonna still use the real thing. I don't know. I'll try it. Try something else though. But definitely, because it's like a $15 or $14-15 difference between the rolls. So I figured that's something that I'm literally just here to save my life, so I'm not screaming in the bathroom when the unexpected chafe hits. Not a bad thing.
Yeah, and then I think the last thing you need to, like, keep in mind on the preventative side is that whether you're having a vest, whether you've got a belt, or even just, like, the sizing of your shirt, you wanna consider how loose everything you have on your body is. So if your vest or your belt isn't tight enough, it's going to bounce around, which is going to create more friction. So the better fit you have on those items, the less likely it is that you're going to experience chafing from them. So that's also why it's important to practice doing your runs in them so you know whether or not you're going to run into something like that. Like my very first running belt, it would be fine at the beginning of the race, but as I took things out and as I ran and it got sweaty, it made it harder and harder to keep it tight. I'd have to keep tightening it, but it wouldn't stay in place. And like when Ben tries to run in a belt, they do tend to bounce on him. He doesn't have like such he's a guy. He's just like straight up and down. He doesn't have a defined like, hip waist to sort of hold the belt in one spot. So he has trouble getting a good fit on his belt. Um, so, you know, practice that ahead of time. Now, if you do, unfortunately, succumb to the chafing monster, we do also have a few tips for you there. We've already kind of mentioned earlier if you're in a pinch trying to have something soft and like prevent further rubbing. So if you do need to cover it, do that. Otherwise, it's actually better to do like loose clothing, things that allow it to breathe so it can heal. You're going to want to put like a Vaseline, a Aquaphor, a Neosporin, something of that nature to help the skin heal. But if you have the opportunity to just like let it lie, that's what we recommend.
Indeed. Diaper rash cream also helps if you happen to have a baby, or I don't know, it's a little it's a
Know
little more
someone that
expensive.
has
Yeah.
one.
Yes, and just really just doesn't like the diaper rash cream. That was one of the first things I tried when I had the great chafe of 2022. And it's a little messier, a little more expensive, but it does work nice. I definitely prefer Aquaphor at this point in time, but take what you can get. Um,
Yeah.
especially if you're traveling and you don't have one or the other with you, but
Mhm.
definitely good to do that.
Yeah, I have a, like, thicker, technically it's a moisturizer. They used to use it for compounding medications. It's called Vanicream now, and you can,
Ooh.
like they make a bunch of stuff now. But I remember when we were kids, my mom used to get it from behind the counter at the pharmacy. She would just ask to buy, like, a plain tub not mixed with anything in it because my brother had eczema, and they would use it on his elbows, but it works really
Oh.
well for stuff like this as well because it's so moisturizing, but it doesn't have any fragrance, anything added, so there shouldn't be any extra irritants um,
Hmm.
for it. So something else to try.
Interesting. Anyone got
And
any other blister stories?
I mean, Bartholomew is kind of the worst blister I ever had. So if you haven't heard about Bartholomew, I highly recommend you go back and listen to. Do we know what episode it was?
So I think it would be post princess registration.
Yeah.
Episode 5.
Well,
It's
is there anything else you guys would like to talk about with chafing or blistering? We actually didn't cover too much of blistering. However, I mean, it's caused the same way that chafing is. It's just that you get a bubble, I guess.
My Disney blisters have mostly just come from me being a guest in the parks or me being a cast member at Disney and I'm just being forced to stand like when I was on my college program and then I would go to the parks on my days off because it was fun. I was like, I'm going to wear what I want and I'm going to look cute ish. I don't know. but I would wear like Sperry's and Converse and all of the unsupportive, terrible shoes. And then when we went to Princess, I was like kind of prioritizing cuteness. And I didn't get any blisters, but I think that's literally how I like broke both of my feet and needed months of physical therapy, is because I wore terrible shoes. And I wore those things to the parks every day. And I was just like limping everywhere. So now, if I'm going to go to Disney, or even just like at work, because I stand all day, not like you guys. So jealous that you guys get to sit. I was, when you guys said, when was the last time I stood up at work? I was like, when was the last time I sat down at work? Um, so I'm from now on only going to be wearing like comfy, supportive, quote unquote, ugly shoes. I don't even care. I'm going to wear Hoka's and Brooks and just comfy shoes all the time.
Yeah. Well,
Mm-hmm.
if you do get a blister, the only 2 tips I have for blisters, post blister, 1, don't get a blister. But once it's happened, um, I really enjoy, if I think something has happened or I'm not sure, I will this is also just good for, like, blood flow in your legs and swelling, but I'll, like, sit up against the wall and put my legs up the wall and just sort of lay like that with a pillow under my head for a little while,
It's a
and
good
that'll
yoga
help
pose.
drain things down. So if there is anything going on in your feet, blisters or swelling or anything, that should help. And then if you get the blisters on your feet, I also really enjoy an Epsom salt soak for the feet. That also has been very successful for me of bringing my blisters down and helping them heal a lot faster.
I literally brought Epsom salt to Princess Weekend
Yeah.
in
I mean, it's
February.
also just really great for your muscles, help you
Yeah.
relax.
But yeah, I don't really have any personal blister stories because, like, when I run, I do the double sock method. So far, it has not failed me.
Hmm.
Yeah. So
Interesting.
if you're running 2 races, bring 4 pairs of socks because you're going to wear 2 pairs for each race. And you put the first one on inside out and the other one on like normal. And it's got to be like Bombas or Features or Belega socks. I've not gotten a blister from running. Gotten blisters from the Disney parks, not running.
I recommend trying whatever you're going to do before you get there for race weekend, but let us know. I really want to hear from our listeners if you've tried this trick, because apparently it sounds like it was a universal thing when you were growing up for all of the track stars and cross country runners. Is this something you've done before, and does it work for you?
Not me, because I was a swimmer in high school. But my sister and my friends who were on the soccer teams, because soccer was really big, and they got a lot of blisters. So this was a tried and true method for them.
Well, I feel like we've thoroughly spooked the listeners at this point. Plenty of scary topics, plenty of
I'll save my marathon toe story
descriptions.
for later
It
You
got
with a
think?
really crazy up in here.
reminder about clipping your toenails before a long race.
Oh,
Not that
oh
mine was
my
from
gosh.
there, but make sure you
Yep.
clip your toenails.
Just keep, before I go on these long runs. I mean, I say long, like Natalie just did 13 miles and I did 6. So like it's all
It's all
relative.
relative.
Yep, it's all
Yeah.
relative here, okay? So before you go on a run and you've got some time, clip your toenails. It's gross, but like you don't want to lose a toenail. That's disgusting.
Don't drop a suitcase on your already bruised toenail either.
Oof.
It's not a good time. It's not a good time.
Ugh.
I'll save that story for later though. Once we get closer to the marathon.
If you enjoy listening to our show, please leave us a review and a 5-star rating. We love reading your reviews out loud. You might be featured on a future podcast episode. Thanks for listening. Until our next adventure, we're wishing you endless miles of magic and memories. See you next time.